Welcome back, episode number 2 to the Havoc Fishin Podcast. We got Mr. Forest Greene with No Bad Days Kayak here as our special guest. But Forrest, without further ado, we're going to kick it over to you. And can you tell us how you got involved in the paddle sports industry and kind of what drew you to opening up the badass kayak shop that you own now?
Can't remember.
Can't remember?
Question.
Okay. Been too many sleeps.
No, it's. I guess it's a long story. A buddy of mine and I, had day jobs forever and wanted to get into something that we actually cared about. Something got us outside again. Quit being a modern day pencil pusher, and looked at a couple of different outdoorsy style industries. And I thought that the kayaks were at the top of the list. We had a couple of other ideas as far as some guns and ammo and stuff like that. We even had an idea for a smart target for shooters. And I had a buddy at a kayak shop, a fairly prominent one at the time, that would, 4 or 5 years prior, he would be talking about how much they could do. They not only had expert personnel, but they had deep pockets. And I interviewed for that company and decided I thought I could do a little bit better, and went back to my buddy who I was starting the business with, and I says, I think kayaks is how we get into the outdoors world. And we went ahead and started it technically in 2019. It was very difficult to get boats through the pandemic. We got boats. We had very low rent, very low overhead. It was working, and then obviously ACK shut down, and that hurt a lot of people. So we ran to, my initial shop was in Llano, even though I've been living in Austin for 10 years. We ran to Pflugerville, put a store there. My rent increased tenfold, and my bills went way up, but we, kept trucking along. I really tried to get into this spot here. It's funny you say I'm the guest. Y'all, this is our shop. I feel like they're the guests today.
We're the guests of the shop, but you're the guest of the show.
This is the Texas Ski Ranch. We run a spot here at the Texas Ski Ranch, but I really wanted to be here at TSR first. It didn't work. I had called these guys when ACK shut down. I called them day of, because a buddy of mine at ACK had called. We had planned a trip, and he was like, "Hey, I can't make the trip." So I was calling these guys the next day after ACK let everybody go, and I was saying, I'll take over the lease. To which the guys that own this property were surprised to hear, and they flew back to verify it, and then they decided to do a renovation. So the old ACK was actually inside in there. This was their axe house, and the axe house has done really good for them, so they moved the axe house inside to the old ACK location, and I'm renting this building here. I had come down January of this year. It's 2023 for those watching in the future. And I was delivering a boat to New Braunfels. Came inside and said, I was just making a cheeky joke about the ACK sign, how it was still up outside, saying that, you ought to put my sign up. And they had said, we've talked to a couple different shops. We definitely want kayaks back in here for a number of reasons. And there's one more shop we want to talk to, and it's who we think we're going to go with. We like what they're doing better, and that was us. So I was sitting there, and he was telling me that, and I'm like, well, that's me. Let's talk. We had several meetings, and we got in here this year. We got in here a little bit later than I wanted. Our first day was really July. But we're here, and we can demo at any time now. We have access to that lake that y'all can't see. Maybe you can see the window out there, but it's helped a lot. And all those boats standing up back there, those are all our rental fleet. I guess we should say we're having a demo day on the 16th, and we've got a couple of people coming. We've got Feel Free's going to bring a big old truck down, so we're going to have a ton of Feel Free boats. We're also going to have Hoodoo's bringing a truck up, so we're going to have a ton of Hoodoo boats, plus all of our demo fleet, which is almost every Hobie. We have most models of Jackson. We have a handful of models of Native and Bonafide. We have Old Town. So you got quite a bit, and you can also rent that fleet. If you wanted to do a 2 or 3 day trip down to Port A and you wanted to kick kayak or anything like that, you can rent any one of our boats, and we do standard paddle rentals as well. You would know, those are Jackson Rivieras back there. Yep. So if you just want a day rental, you can come grab that and load up and have a ball. But that's sort of how we got into it. We were looking to get out of an industry. We thought that we could do as good, if not better job as the next guys. With the state of customer service in the kayaking world, I just thought that's where the biggest opportunity lied. I grew up on a river. I grew up kayaking and canoeing, even had a canoe at one point, put a little 9-horse Evinrude on the back. It was an industry I knew fairly well, and I was confident about going into kayaks. And then a lot of things just happened where it almost felt like it was handed to me, with ACK closing down, with getting this shop, and we have some of the best personnel around. One of my buddies, Carson, he was employee number 1. Got lucky to get him. He recommended Luke. Luke fished for Jackson for 7 years. And then down here, when I started this shop, I heard the name get thrown around 2 or 3 times. You need to hire JR. He's running his own business essentially on Facebook. And he had worked at ACK, then he was at one of our competitors for a little while. I ran into him and I said, hey, this is what we're doing. Do you have any interest in that? He came back and said, not only do I have interest, but let's do what we can to make it happen. And everything you see behind us, this is all JR. I came in and set this shop up, and I thought I did a good job. And he came back, he put all the tape on the floor, lined things up, got it clean, keeps it clean, and he crushes it. He's on a lot of groups, even after hours, trying to, make things happen, and he's a mover and a shaker. I got really lucky. Oh, this is Texas Slim.
We'll get back.
Do you want to answer this?
Oh, God. Is
Hang
it really?
on. Yeah.
All right, answer that.
Slim, you're on speakerphone, and we're doing a podcast right now. What's up?
Hey, fantastic. I'm glad I could tune in. What are we talking about today, guys?
How much? Basically, we're getting ready to talk about how Jackson was the superior boat, and they were wondering if you were ever going to switch over to a Jackson kayak.
Man, I'm getting I'm about to hit a tunnel out here. Dude,
Oh, Lord. That's too good.
Oh, we're not live streaming?
No. Thank
No.
God.
Yeah,
Why
'cause
not?
if we were, oh, my God. I can't imagine.
What's wrong with that? People like genuine stuff.
Yeah, YouTube doesn't have a beep, beep button. So,
All right, back to it.
what the hell were we talking about?
How we got into them?
Well, than that part of it.
So you went on to tell us about how you got involved in the industry and how you brought the stores to life. JR, Carson, Luke, all those great guys. But one thing I really want you to tell everybody about is something that no other shop offers, and that's the 12-hand process.
We don't anymore.
Oh, go ahead and edit that part out too. Fuck.
No, it's...
Beep.
Yeah, we can talk about that offline, but we're using the same shipper everybody else is now.
That's right. We'd already talked about that.
Yeah.
We already talked about that. So, given that you've seen the ups and downs of the industry, what is your take on the 2024 scene? Do you think we all know the paddle sports industry right now is in kind of a lull? Do you see are you starting to see that upkick? With the holidays getting near and people want to get outdoors now, they're starting to cool off again, and it's not as hot as the devil's asshole anymore outside.
Man, I wish I had a crystal ball. It would be a lot easier. It'd be a lot easier to do this if I had the crystal ball. It's difficult to sit here and say how many boats should I buy, how many boats should I commit to, what should I do, should I not do. What's funny is I thought that ICAST last year went off better, but there's been more interest from the stuff that was announced at ICAST this year, and I think that's good for the industry. We definitely saw a lull. Almost every other shop I talked to, at least in the Texas area, they saw, August was pretty hurtful. Everybody saw a dip. Talked to a lot of guys that saw a huge dip in July. We didn't see that dip in July.
That was one of your best months, right?
July was good for us. But yeah, even talking to some manufacturers that do direct to customer shipping, and they were starting to hurt in July, and finally starting to see things tick back up. I don't have the crystal ball. Last year, August did not dip for us at all. This year it did. I don't really know what that means. And we knew that this location was going to dip. We had planned on that. It was always a dip for ACK. This area, it just kind of works that way. Our Pflugerville location didn't see a change, but our internet sales saw a huge dip. I don't know what any of it means. We're just going to keep doing what we think makes the most sense, which is offering the best customer service out there. I don't know anybody that's willing to deliver kayaks for free like we are. We're delivering them for free for pretty much anywhere in Texas. I just ran a couple up to Dallas on Tuesday. We're doing everything we can to minimize our costs. I'm running to Lake Charles here in a little bit. After this podcast, I'm headed to Lake Charles to pick up a load from our new brand, Hammerhead, out of Alabama. He's going to meet me halfway, and anything like that we can do to minimize our costs and pass those savings on to the customer, we're trying to do. And then, the level of customer service that we're offering. I don't see anybody standing behind their boats as strongly as we are, and I don't know that anybody has a team that's as strong as the team that we've put together. And that's both supporting you online and supporting you in shop. If there's something we can do to help you get back on the water, we're going to do it.
And I've seen that, I've been working with you now for close to a year, and your customer service, has always been second to none. But, you brought up a good topic of, you've kind of seen a lull in sales and all that kind of stuff. And you brought up ICAST, which triggered something in my mind. And Old Town just released their new EPDL. And for all y'all that don't know, go check it out. It's a pretty unique boat. Pretty much got cruise control on it for, their big water 132. It's pretty much that with cruise control, but no spot lock. Overall it is a unique design. But how do you see that boat selling compared to the autopilot that has spot lock, motor, and all that integrated in it, and do something that just gets you from point A to point B?
I don't know. The interest garnered in the EPDL on my end has been love or hate. People either really, really want to see it, or they really, really don't.
And it's $6,000 compared to. It's a pretty steep price increase.
That is like one of the most expensive boats on the market.
Yeah,
right,
it's
right next to that little PA that's sitting behind us.
Yeah,
it's
for little Iaconelli.
It's it's definitely you're going to pay for it. But I'm interested to see how it goes. We've had a couple of people that have called up asking when we're going to get one of those. We've had a lot of people call up asking about the new Titan X. We've had pre-orders for the Titan X already and the new Native Skiff. So I think there's a lot out there. The EPDL is going to be interesting. People are, like I say, they're either really excited about it or really not. There's not like an in-between where people think, oh, that's just another boat. We're going to have one here in a little while. We're going to have it for a week. So Old Town reached out to me. They've got a demo model. They know that we can do demos here, and they're going to bring it by for a week. They haven't given me the dates yet. I was trying to push to get it for the 16th for the demo day. I don't think it's going to be here by then. But we'll have it for a week. We'll make a big announcement, and come get on it. We know we got access to that lake. We'll just spend every day out there and get on it and see what you think.
And that's a lovely lake, especially if you just want to go take a dip back there and swim around, maybe flip some kayaks.
Yeah. You've ever done anything like that back there?
Never.
No?
No.
I think I got a video on about 5 kayaks that says otherwise.
Yeah, I think I still have the disease that I contracted from that water as well.
It's, the thing is you want to get it when the water temperature is below 90, and that day the water temp was about 95. So that's
the problem. I can feel the parasites crawling.
When it gets up to like 95, you're basically heating up all the parasites and everything else and just going to creep right into those, it's...
Oh, they were interested.
We call that the Freddie Mercury disease.
Oh. Oh, yeah, let me just bop my way out of that one.
Oh, Lord. But so, Forrest, how long have you been doing this?
We started in 2019.
2019. So not relatively long, but long enough.
We're a young shop. There's no question. And growing as fast as we did has been really difficult.
Yeah.
It puts a lot of strain. When you go from a nice slow growth rate, and this is for anybody that's interested in business out there. A lot of times VCs and these investors will look for 20% to 30% year-over-year growth. We blew through that, and it's hard to manage. Your expenses go through the roof, and then what you have to do to keep that business going, the hours you put into it goes through the roof. So it's been really challenging, especially in this climate. The outdoors sports industry, kayaks specifically, from pre-pandemic, during the pandemic, grew 130%. A lot of people were going outside again. There was nothing else to do. People couldn't make boats, though. Here in Texas, we had that freeze. A lot of guys couldn't get plastic. A lot more guys couldn't get your polymers because all these chemical plants here in Texas were shut down. And when they spun back up, they were just making PVC for home builders. They weren't making the plastics we needed for kayaks. So it was really challenging for manufacturers, as well as the demand went through the roof. So the sort of the research I looked at indicated that the industry would come back down to about twice the level it was before the pandemic. And there's been a lot of demand out there. I think the hesitation, this is all speculation, I'm not an economist, but I think the hesitation has more to do with the economy than it does to do with availability or anything else. You know, we're seeing gas prices go through the roof. We're seeing inflation creep up a lot. People are not getting approved for loans as much. You know, when you're doing a firm, we've had people come in really interested in boats that have pretty good credit, that not get approved for a firm, you know, tighten things up a little bit. So there's a lot going on, but I'm still hopeful. This is the industry I want to be in. You know, I still have my day job. I got 2 jobs because I'm smart, and I cannot wait until we get to the point where I can quit my day job. The truth is, though, with the rate we're going, it's going to make more sense for me to hire another guy, hopefully in 2024. And if there's more guys out there like JR, Carson, Luke, where these experts are out there saying, I want to get back into this kayak industry, we're going to, you know, it's going to make more sense to bring them on. That's what I'm going to do. And we're trying to run the shop a little better than the other guys. You know, I have a plan to keep these experts in the shop, which is a profit sharing plan. And I don't know anybody else that's going to do a profit sharing plan with their shop. So as we make money, my guys will get a little bit more money, and it'll encourage them to stay in the industry instead of going off and working for somebody corporate. You know, the idea is let's pay them a fair wage, keep them in here, and then our customers have access to this expert that may have been in the industry for 20 years. They're still here because they can still make a living doing it.
Yeah.
So a lot of goals out there, a lot of lofty goals, and this winter is pretty much the last real challenge we have to get through. Everything is looking really good for us as far as longevity, and you know, this winter we took on a lot this year, and we just got to make our dollar go a little bit farther this winter, and really looking forward to February 24.
It's a good deal.
So, I guess this is more of a marketing question. What, you know, there's tons of kayak leagues out there in the state of Texas that, you know, you can fish in. You know, you've got All-Star Kayak League. You know, that's a really great league if y'all are looking for somewhere to go fish. You got Texas Kayak Bass League. Do you see more opportunities partnering with a league like that who says, hey, we're going to do X, Y, Z for you, versus solo marketing and having like a marketing campaign with just the kayak shop individually?
Yes and no. It's both. You know, to be involved with the leagues, I like to do it because I want to support the local kayakers. That's why we got involved with it. I want to be a part of that community, and I want to have a direct connection with that community so I can know what the community wants, what we're doing right, what we're doing wrong, what maybe somebody else is doing right or doing wrong. And I want to be there to support the people spending money on it. And there's no question, period, that the anglers are supporting the kayak industry as a whole. Something like 80% of all kayak sales are anglers. It's an astronomical number. So when it comes down to who is my customer and how can I better serve them, partnering with those leagues to me makes the most sense. Now, my internet sales have nothing to do with the leagues. When I'm shipping a boat to Oklahoma, when I'm shipping a boat to Washington, they have no idea about Texas Kayak Bass League or anything like that. So I do have other marketing out there, but that marketing is communicating the message of what we're doing with customer service. The reason that I got involved with the bass leagues is because I think that's going to inform me how I can do customer service better. You know, when I go to these tournaments, I get to meet 100 guys and hear 100 opinions on what they're needing, what they're looking for, and that way I can move faster, bob and weave, and be the guy that can solve your problem. Instead of reacting to the market forces a month or two behind them, I'd like to think that we're doing what it takes to stay ahead of them. You know, I want to ideally build a shop where, you know, the old days REI, before it became it's not a conglomerate, but it's a corporate monster.
Mm-hmm.
So they're huge. You know, 25 years ago, you just go there and hang out and drink coffee and talk about rock climbing. I like that atmosphere. I like the idea of a co-op. I don't know a whole lot about what REI is doing right now. I've been involved in a lot of co-ops. You know, I'm from small towns, and our feed stores and everything were all co-ops. I love the idea of them. But we looked at doing a co-op style organization here, and there was just no good way we could do it on a small scale, and that's where we came up with the profit sharing pool. So there'll be X amount of the profits just go back to the employees. Whereas a co-op is nice. I think and I don't know, I don't have a lawyer or anything, but I think we're paying our guys a little bit better than REI is, and I want to keep that up. I want to be not only a place that people want to come. I'd love to have a place that people just want to come hang out and talk about stuff. I want to have the experts that can solve any of your problems, and then I want to treat my customers, treat my employees as fairly as I can as well. So it's the whole gambit, and that's where when I talk about being here for life, I want this to be. Is this my retirement plan? Sure, but it's a 30-year retirement plan. This is something when I'm at the kayak shop, I love doing it. When I'm going to be driving to Lake Charles here in a half hour, an hour, whatever time it is. That's stuff that I like doing. Truth is, I like my day job, but I can't wait till I can leave that and focus on this. Right now, I still have to give 40 hours a week, sometimes 60 hours a week to the day job, and luckily I got a good team supporting us here. But I think that we can build something that's really good for the employees as well as really good for the customers. Hooking up with a Bass League is only going to help inform that. The rest of it, the internet marketing is just one big mystery. And every week you've got 14 guys telling you, I know how to market on the internet, trust me. And they might be right. But until you use them and you find out, you never know.
That's trial and error.
Yeah, I'm not a marketing expert. I can tell you that right now. And so I hire the best teams that I can, the best people that I can. And I tell them, yeah, advertise we have whatever boat. But what we really have is the best team, in my opinion, in the nation. I think we can easily claim the best team in Texas. I love our guys. I love their fire. But I think even nationwide, we've got the best team out there. I'll give you an example. Y'all were here and they did an install of a new canoe. That motor we ordered for a different guy. I spent 6 or 7 hours on the phone with this guy, supporting him, trying to get a new canoe built for him. And then he called back and said, hey, I found one somewhere else. I'd already ordered the motor. I didn't want to cancel that order. And I was like, as long as you get on the water, that's all that matters. So we built, somebody else bought that motor. It wasn't a big deal. But that guy bought from somebody in his hometown. He's already called back saying this guy won't talk to me anymore. He was happy to sell me this $4,000 boat, and now I'm on my own. We're still supporting that guy. And our whole shtick is, I named it No Bad Days for a reason. I want people to get out on the water. I think that if they're having a bad day and you go get on the water, you're having a good day. Even on days that I fall off my kayak, it's a lot better than staying home,
Any day on the water is better than any day in the office, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And honestly, so far from what I could tell, because, I've been doing this for going on 10 years now and seeing dealers after dealers. But what I can tell is that you actually, give a shit about your customers and your employees, because a lot of companies and some dealers that I've worked at myself just don't really care.
I'm finding that if you want to be rich, you have to be a narcissist. And you don't look at people as people. You look at them as assets.
Yeah.
You don't look at, here's a guy that's generating value for me, and he's a great guy. How can I keep him around?
Mm-hmm.
They're always about squeezing the most value out of anybody, and then minimizing what they're paying that guy.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen that work. I've seen that build animosity among employees, and an unhappy employee is going to give bad customer service. It's going to give a bad experience. So, in my opinion, the way that, and I'm saying this now, we've started in 2019. I'm saying this as if I know that I'm going to be here for 30 years. It feels like I'm going to be, but my understanding for longevity is you treat your employees great, they treat your customers great, and you get to keep doing what you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we're trying to do. I definitely hope that my employees don't say that I'm I drive them too hard or anything like that. I hope they say that I'm good to work for. That's definitely a goal of mine.
Yep.
But yeah, the giving a damn, it's hard. When you got to get stuff done and then say an employee's down, we've had employees that have family problems, and there's too many all-nighters you got to pull to make up for them not being there. But it's like, that's what you do. And it runs me ragged. I'm turning grayer and grayer here, but it'll be a lot easier, like I say, when I can quit my day job.
Yeah.
But at the same time, knowing that you have the coverage and knowing that guy's still getting his paycheck and he can go take care of what he needs to take care of, when he comes back, he's going to sit there and work just as hard for you before. Whereas if you're heeing and hawing about it, I don't think that guy's going to be too motivated to stay around or care about what you're doing. I can't ask my employees, if I get an employee that really cares about this industry, that's awesome, but I can't ask them to care. At the end of the day, it is a job. But, act like you care. Do the absolute best job you can every time. Treat every customer the way that you want to be treated. And even if you're putting it on, and this is just a job to you, if you're treating my customers great, I'm down. At the end of the day, it is a business deal. But what do? I think treating your employees is a key part of running a business.
Yeah. No, I mean, the whole employee thing too is, that is your face of your shop, right? That is what your customer first sees is going to be your employee coming up, talking to them, and giving them a rundown of a boat they might be interested in, or possibly getting a boat rigged out for them. That's who they're seeing, that's who they're interacting with. Whether it's you or whether it's one of your employees, as long as, in my opinion, as long as that employee is keeping a, not to mention, Gerald Swindle here, but keeping a positive mental attitude and just going at it every day, that's what matters.
Yeah.
And some employers just don't care. They're just too busy focused on money and just could care less.
It's
about
the
their
bottom
employees.
line, and that's the difficult thing is, we've had tough months. We've had a lot of months where we've lost money and not made money. I'll say it for the third time. I still have my day job. If we just had nothing but profitable months, I wouldn't have the day job.
Yep.
But yeah, it's really tough. We're gonna see if what I'm thinking of works. Maybe I've got it figured out. Maybe I don't. Those tough months, it's really difficult to come to these guys and say, hey, our numbers aren't looking good. What can we do to increase the bottom line? And I absolutely hate when I have to say that. I don't want this to be a bottom line industry. I'm absolutely happy if we're making money here as a business to spread that around. At one point, ACK was out there with deep pockets just taking care of everybody because they could. I'd love to be that guy. My truck is fine. I don't need some fancy truck. My little 16-foot trailer is great. I don't need some fancy fifth wheel. And if it means we get people back out on the market, or back out on the water rather, would much rather do that. It's a little bit of altruism in there. You feel good for doing it, but why not just do the right thing? I think you can make money and do the right thing at the same time. I'm going to try my hardest to do that.
I think ACK was when they were at their peak, they were a really good example of that. I mean, their fishing team, they treated us like royalty. I know Jason Mercer, he's the guy that led all that up, and they would take care of tournaments, lodging, whatever they could do to help you out to make your tournament venture that much easier. They were there to help you, and to see another shop, I wouldn't say fill in their shoes, but kind of coming in, taking over, and then setting a higher bar. I think that goes to say a lot about you as an owner and as a shop.
Well, we're trying. You can definitely, I need it. This is one of those things where I need 100 things to go right, and if only 95 go right, we might not survive it. I'm pretty confident we're going to be able to pull it off, though. And ACK had some big shoes to fill, and they had a good crew of guys that actually cared, and they had the money to do so. I dream of the day I can be in that position, where all we do is get people back out on the water. That's an awesome position to be in. And they got bought, and they had investors, and the customer service suffered a little bit when they would call up to corporate, and somebody at corporate that didn't really understand the industry didn't get back to them, and that hurts. Anything you can to make the customer's day better, I think you ought to do it. So I do everything within my power to make sure people are taken care of. If I've got to do on-site rigging, we have a lady that ordered a couple of boats out of Dallas, and she was apprehensive. She was saying, well, I want to get this boat for my son, but there's some other stuff we may want to, consider for Christmas. How do I deal with that? And I said, if we've got to come up after Christmas and do a fish finder install, we'll do it. I've got a camper. I'll come up. We'll find a lake to camp on. We'll get your boats dialed in, get your fish finders installed, get your sons where they need to be, push them out on the water. We'll make a weekend out of it. You don't have to worry about it. And it really, helped ease her mind about it. And she went ahead and got the boats delivered. And she says her son already thinks he's a professional fisherman, which I'm 40, and I don't think that. I think that I shouldn't have more than a cane pole, because that's about how many fish I catch. And if I can help that kid become a really good fisherman, then great. I'll do anything I can to, because I certainly never made it a great fisherman.
Well, now that you brought the boats, I mean, you carry a wide variety of boats here. I mean, Old Town, New Canoe, Hobie, Jackson, whole bunch of them. What is your best selling boat, and then what is or kayak? Excuse me for all those that are going to grammatically correct me, but what is your best selling kayak, and what is your favorite kayak to fish off of when you do fish?
Man, so right now, Hobie's our biggest one, and it's between the Outback and the Pro Angler. Of course, the Pro Angler has 4 versions. All of the competition guys are on the Pro Angler when they're buying a Hobie. Number 2 would have to be Native, and they've been great. What Native's done has been amazing. We had a gentleman here in San Antonio that bought it was a Bonafide, which is essentially a sister company to Native, and it came in damaged to shipping. Almost every piece of hardware on that was broken, gouged, and everything. And I called up Native and I said, look, this guy's really unhappy, but I'll do the work for free. Here's the parts we think we need. Are you willing to play ball with us? And they shipped us everything for free. So we went over that boat top to bottom, got it back into really good condition, and I loved it. And Native offering that kind of customer service makes me really happy to do business with them. Down the line from there, the company that's up and coming is Hoodoo. We're moving a lot of Hoodoos. In fact, this last month it was Hoodoo took the crown for us, and we're really hopeful about this new company, Hammerhead. We've just signed up with Hammerhead. They're brand new out of Alabama. His boats right now are made overseas, but he's got a pretty unique design, and he's made a name for himself. And so we're working on becoming the preferred online dealer for Hammerhead, and he's referring a lot of business to us. So we've got to get trained up on their boats pretty good. We've got a demo coming from them as well, so you can jump on one on the 16th. But from there, it's going to be the Old Towns. Old Towns, we haven't put in a huge order of Old Town, but they go pretty quick. I don't know. Bottom line is probably...
This is going to sting.
No, the problem is it doesn't. I'm really happy to have Jackson. I was fired up to get Jackson back in here. My problem with Jackson is I'm only allowed to sell them at one of my locations, which is fair. There's a competitor right up the road here, TG. They've been there for 35 years. In a lot of ways, they've done some things that I want to recreate, and they have pretty darn good staff. When you talk about fiberglass repair or carbon fiber repair, they're
pretty damn good at it.
You can't touch them.
Yeah.
And I know guys that built fiberglass boats, the skiffs, and looking at TG's work, I mean, they're great. So there's a lot of things that they've done that I want to do. They're a little bit more on the river side of things. I'm a lot less on that. I'd like to get more river boats in here, but I don't really think that we encroach on each other's business that much.
Not really, because for the people that don't know, I'm the Jackson Tech rep for the southern region, so that's why that kind of hurt a little bit. But the industry, I say the industry, but the specifics on the boats that you both get, the both dealers get, is they're mainly focused on river boats, like the Coosa X or the RVR or boats like that, because they're right on the Guadalupe River.
Yeah,
they're right there. Like, you just go maybe a mile away from the shop and it's right there. Here it's different. I mean, you guys are close, but the drive from other people, it's not river based.
It's funny, we got we're not allowed to sell Jacksons at this location, but we can demo them. And people will come down and demo that Coosa X, and they go right up the road to TG and buy it. So
I need to make a couple phone calls.
Hey, man, as long as they get on the river, getting out there is our whole thing. Yeah. So, yeah, it's hard to ask somebody to come demo here and then drive 54 miles to our other shop. But that's a big ask. Yeah. So, again, we knew that was going to happen. When we finally got permission to do demos here, we knew that a lot of those sales were going to go to TG. TG and Jackson have had such a great relationship for so long. And you're not making a mistake by buying from TG. They're good guys.
But I think it even goes to show your testament of providing great customer service. It's like, you don't give a shit. Hey, you're not going to buy it here, but at least you're going to be happy and be on the water somewhere, and I'll gladly show you the ins and outs of the boats, kayaks, and, so you can look at it.
Well, yeah, and you're not you're not making a mistake from buying from them, and you're not making a mistake buying a Jackson. Those are some really quality boats. Either as far as a paddling fishing boat goes, that Coosa X. If JR, our other guy, he's not here. He had to go home. But JR is on a pro angler. He fishes tournaments. We did a demo out here out back. By the way, we can demo at any time here at the new Braunfels location if you want to come demo a boat. But he went out and did a demo, and the guy wanted Diablo, Coosa X, and then a couple of the kick kayaks. So he gets back there, and JR gets on the Coosa X for the first time. He was blown away. I didn't know that you could have a boat paddled that good that's also that stable and has that much payload. And it's Coosa X. Jackson knows what they're doing when they make boats. It's not
They
a
make
bad
a good boat. There's no denying it.
Yeah, I mean, I can be the fangirl as much as I want about Jackson. I've been with them for 9+ years now. But there is a certain person, I won't name any names, but they had recently just bashed Jackson and their boats.
Was it a handsome guy?
No.
Oh, he was. I don't know who it was then.
But he bashed the Coosa X, saying it's not a riverboat. It doesn't do what riverboats are supposed to be, and he just directed everybody towards the RVR. Now, I have no problems with the RVR. I've never actually tested it. I've seen it on the water, but I've never been in it, so I cannot comment or speculate on it. But I know that if you take a look back at Jackson's roots, it's whitewater and riverboats.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's a hard argument.
it's hard for someone to say that Jackson doesn't know how to make a riverboat because they came out with the Coosa and then the Coosa HD with assistance from Drew Gregory, and then we came out with the Coosa X, and they all dominated the riverboats or the river industry because no other company was making them.
Right. No, and they know what they're doing. They make a rigid boat too. They put more geometry in their boats to make that plastic go farther. They really think about it. But the cool thing about boats at this level, and when I get customers come in the shop that don't know what they want, the cool thing about boats at this level is the RVR is a great boat. Mm-hmm. I'm going to sit here and say it's better than the Coosa X? I don't think I can say that. But the RVR might be a better setup for you. Mm. So the quality of the RVR is fantastic. The RVR paddles amazing. Yep. In my opinion, when you get to this level of boats, it's less about am I getting a quality boat and more about what's the setup that's going to work for me. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of times that the pro angler is the setup that's going to work for you. Yep. Sometimes it's the autopilot. Yep. If you're one of these guys that you're on your third or fourth boat and you know a setup you want, that's where the new Canoe Unlimited comes in. Mm-hmm. Unbelievably stable boat, incredibly high quality boat, blank canvas. Yep. You come in and you dictate how that boat's going to be organized.
And incredibly affordable too.
Yeah, they're.
What is it? 1,800?
I think it's 1,800 for the unlimited. I mean, brand new off the showroom floor.
Yeah.
Comes with a seat, and then you piece it together. When you get your drive's $1,300, and then you have motor options. Mm-hmm. The motor options on the unlimited are ridiculous.
Bow mounted, stern, like you can just
gas,
put anything.
Electric.
Oh,
it's just rated at 2.5 horse on that transom.
And I get it. The gentleman that you're, not naming any names, just rather a handsome, healthy individual. He's just trying to promote his brands, and I get it. But I mean, one thing as anglers, we're all kind of biased, but there's no perfect kayak out there. I mean, I personally think one of the most ridiculous kayaks on the market is the Hobie PA14, the Ike and Ellie edition. I mean, you pay an extra $300.
Ike, I'm sorry.
You pay. I mean, don't get me wrong. Ike's a phenomenal angler, but you pay an extra $300 for a red boat with some shark teeth.
Yep, and his name on the floorboard.
And his name on the floorboard. Nothing against you, Ike.
Now, it's great marketing
phenomenal
for your
marketing.
Self-brand. But,
absolutely.
Hobie, I mean, upcharge like maybe $100. But,
yeah, I mean, it's a Hail Mary in marketing.
But, I don't know, throwing it to six grand is like, that's hefty.
How you're a great person. How many Ike edition PAs do you sell?
This year we sold 6.
6.
Holy shit.
That's impressive.
Why'd you ask?
Well, I mean, I guess we got a lot of Ike fans out there.
Yeah, we sold 6.
With shark teeth or no?
Well,
shark
the
teeth?
shark teeth. That's
that's a deal breaker.
That is a. It's kind of like the EPDL, where they love or hate it. And I've had guys on the phone. You got the Ike and Ellie edition. I need the red color. The red color has an advantage. That's what I'm about. Is there shark teeth on it? And I'll say, do you want to put the shark teeth on? If you put shark teeth on it, I won't touch that boat. And then the other guys will come back and be like, okay, I need you guys to put the shark teeth on it because that's really important, and y'all are going to be better at lining those decals perfectly for me. And I really need. And it's again, there is no middle ground. Everybody either loves it or the other side just absolutely hates it.
I think the color is cool. I think the red color, just like I was talking about the new canoe that you have back there that was custom ordered for that customer.
Mad Dog.
Yeah, I think that color is really cool. I just think that the fact that you're putting a big name angler, very well known big name angler, Mike Iaconelli, like I already said, is a phenomenal angler. I just think that upcharging to $6,000 is a little on the ridiculous side, in my personal opinion. But if it's what you want and you got a ton of Benjamins laying around, come pick it up.
Go for it.
You know, talking about having tons of Benjamins, there's a lot of guys that have money that can buy boats and they come in and buy whatever they want. There's a lot of guys that don't, and this is where customer service means a lot to me, because I wasn't raised with money. My dad was a soldier and then a teacher my whole life. You know, the lights never went off. We didn't have money. The idea of buying one of these boats, absolutely not. Every kayak that I had growing up, and every canoe or canoe, it was $50 at a yard sale type deal that I grew up on. And then when we finally got the Evinrude to put on the back of the canoe, it was like a 1972 Evinrude that we found. And I had known how to fix lawnmowers, and we worked on that engine for 3 months before it started running. And that was how I got boats. And there's a percentage of our guys that do financing, you know, a significant percentage of it. They don't have money just to come plop down on the boat. And they come and buy a $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 boat on credit. That's the guy that we really have to take care of. We cannot afford to have this guy paying interest on this boat and have something go wrong with that boat and put a sour taste in his mouth. That happens, he's going to leave the industry altogether. He's never going to kayak again. Mm-hmm. He's going to have a bad time.
Yeah.
We need to take care of these people as much as we need to take care of everybody else. But the idea that there's people out there so passionate about this and that want this so bad that they're willing to go into debt for it, that says a lot. And we've got to be dedicated to these customers as they are to the sport in general, you know?
Yeah.
I think you said that very well. This is can be a very expensive industry. Especially if if you've been in the industry, like me and Half sitting here have for a while, you're going to accrue stuff over the years that's going to make your expenditures less. But coming into it, you can spend a pretty penny. It goes a lot to say how adamant you are in providing the customer service that you want to give your customers to make sure they have a good buying process, and whenever, if something, God forbid, does go awry, you're there to stand behind it and take care of it.
Yep. Anything we can do, just like we had a gentleman call in here a little while ago. We don't have a park for a drive. He needs a drive. We're going to give him one of our demo drives of the weekend. We're going to get him back out on the water, and we'll order the bearings that he needs, but we've got to get these kids on the water. If they're not on the water, they're not having fun.
You talking about Texas Slim that just called you?
It's his buddy, yeah.
Oh, it's Mr. Isham.
Yeah.
It's only because Texas Slim is probably the most handsomest tournament director out there.
My goodness.
I tell you what, I'd grab those mustache handles.
Tell you what, man.
No, it's not the handles, it's the chops.
Yeah, sorry, the
It's the
chops.
chops.
Man, Forrest, it's been a pleasure. I don't think we can top that podcast by any stretch of the imagination.
Well,
to be honest,
probably have somebody more handsomer.
I could give a shit.
Yeah, but
Call Slim.
Call Slim.
You showed
He's a
your
handsome guy.
You showed your heart and everything, and you really. For any of y'all out there looking for a place to go, if you're local to Texas, online, whatever, No Bad Days Kayak, you're not going to find any better customer service out there. They're going to bend over backwards to make sure you have the ultimate buying experience. And for the time that I've known Forrest, I've seen Forrest work with customers. I've been a customer of Forrest. Me and Halfston were in here today, helping out JR rig out a boat. This is... They treat you like family, and I don't think you could find another place that is willing to do that for you and keep doing that for you after you make a large purchase. Because, you see that a lot. Yep. You make a huge purchase. It's just like buying a car. You buy a car, you drive off the lot, they're like, adios, amigo. But not y'all.
And I'm really proud of that. I get a call or an email every week talking about one of our employees and how well they did, and that makes all of it worth it. And we have people that drive up near a prominent store. They some from the north, some from the south, some from coming all the way from another state. And they were saying, you didn't try to upsell me. In fact, we had one guy come in. He had a boat in mind, and he came in and started talking about a boat that was half the money. And I said, yeah, let's get the demo out. Let's get on it. It might be the one for you. And he immediately said, no, never mind, we'll take this one I came here for. And it was a test to make sure that we weren't going to sit here and try to squeeze him for money. And he couldn't find the boat in the configuration he wanted, the length and the color, essentially. And I said, man, I'll order that for you. I'll have it here on the next boat. If I can get it here earlier, I'll do it, you know. And if I can find a hot shotter coming, we'll get it here sooner. And he had been to several kayak shops that were trying to sell him an upscaled version because it was the one they had on the floor, not because it was the one that he needed. I'm the other way around. I want to get you in the boat that makes the most sense for you.
Absolutely.
And if that's a K2 Explorer, you know, if you come in here and all you can afford is a K2 Explorer, go get the K2 Explorer. It's a lot more fun than sitting on the bank.
Yeah,
you know?
get out on the water.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Just get on the water. You know, asses in seats,
Toes in the
man.
water.
Toes in the water.
Ass in the sand.
Yeah. Well, thank y'all for tuning in to episode number 2. We've got some really exciting guests coming up. Our next one is going to be on the show the big one is Mr. Caleb Sumrall. And and he's a Bassmaster Elites Pro. We've got more exciting guests coming up after that. But again, thank you, Forrest, for coming out. We came to you.
Well, thank y'all
we
for
came
coming
here.
out.
Yeah, we came here.
That's
But
our motive. That's our
thank you
motive.
for having us and our shenanigans and all that other stuff. But keep up what you're doing, man. You're changing the way the industry runs.
Yeah, we're going to try. We're going to swing this bat, you know.
Awesome.
Swing it hard.
Knock it out of the park.
We're trying.
All right. Well, catch you guys on the next one.
You know, take it easy.
See ya.